I'm Josh with Waupaca Community Media, and we are back with another Waupaca update. Ron Sorry from the School District of Waupaca, Aaron Jensen from the City of Waupaca. Hello, everyone.
Hey, Josh.
Hey, Josh.
And we are into the first, well, it's not quite a full week, but almost a full week of school. So how has the start of the school year been going so far?
I am very pleased and excited to share. It's going terrific. At the first day, I was able to make it around to most of the buildings and started the morning out at the WLC. It was a lot of fun watching these young kids come in and their parents dropping them off, taking pictures with us. And on the first day, interviewed a little girl there, how excited she was on the first day, and shared that in the weekly update last week. But one of the neat things that John Ersbaumer, the principal at the WLC, shared is of his 13 years as the principal of the WLC, that was the smoothest, most efficient beginning of the first day of school that he's had. And, with the construction going on and losing half of his parking lot, being fenced in for the construction site, he had anticipated there'd be a lot more hiccups in challenges than what took place. He said this is the first time nobody parked on the grass, even though almost half of his parking lot was occupied. So it was like that at all the buildings. It went very well for their opening first day on Friday.
That's great to hear, and we hope that good success continues through the school year.
That's right. Thank you.
And we'll jump over to Aaron. Couple events, city-related events coming up in the next few days. The first one Friday, movie at the bank.
Yeah, so this one, I believe it got rescheduled, Josh, didn't it? This was actually set for earlier in the summer.
It got stormed out.
It got stormed out. So we're having it this Friday at dusk, which is approximately evidently 7:20 p.m. And it's, when we say it's at the bank, it's actually right here by City Hall and the library on the Bank First property, which is kind of right at the end of East Fulton Street. Right in the downtown area. So it is Super Mario Bros, which I've actually seen in theaters, and it's pretty good. So if you haven't seen it, or if you have, come out. And it looks like the weather's supposed to be pretty good. If I'm not mistaken, it's going to cool down. Be comfortable. So bring your own seating. Big thanks to Bank First and the Waupaca Area Public Library for sponsoring it.
Perfect. And the other big event going on this weekend is for our law enforcement, some of our first responders and fire. It's Battle of the Badges.
Yeah, this is an annual thing that they do. Usually it's a softball game. I guess they're switching to kickball, is my understanding this year. And it is the sheriffs and the police department team up, and they battle the fire department. And it's a fundraiser. So we, obviously the work that they do is incredibly important, essential to our community. Show up, support them in any way you can. There's fun for the entire family there. I believe the food, drinks, face painting, dunk tank, bounce house, fireworks. It all starts at 6 p.m. At Swan Park on September 9th on Saturday. So if you can make it, that'd be awesome.
And we'll jump back over to Ron. A few weeks ago, we talked about your Comet Universals, kind of, I forget how we phrased it nicely. So not necessarily guidelines, but guidance on just different ways to act and different things to do to bring positivity to the school district. And we want each week you'll be updating the community a different one. And this week it's Culture Begins and Ends with Me. So tell us a little bit about that.
You're exactly right. As we talked about a few weeks ago, I believe the culture guidebook is something that we created because the research shows, and we know through anecdotal experience, that culture has an impact on student learning. Culture has an impact on how all of us behave, and we want the best, most positive professional culture that we can have. So we created this culture guidebook, and what you had mentioned, the Culture Universals, is sort of a summary of that guidebook. It takes 19 main points, and as you said, the first one, the number one universal, is our culture begins and ends with me. Me as an individual. It's not them or you or others or pointing the finger. It's about, if I want a positive culture in my office, in the schools, the district, the community, it really begins with me and my mindset and how I think about my choices. And that I am a leader and that I can make a positive difference, because I can't control anybody else, but I can control me, and I can be reflective and work to be the best version of myself, to be a problem solver, to choose a positive attitude. And so that's what our culture begins with me means to me. And so our staff next week on Wednesday at the beginning of their PLC meetings with those early dismissals, they're gonna reflect on our culture begins with me, and they're gonna talk about how do you believe that you have an impact on our school culture. They're gonna talk about that in a small group. And so the idea is for all of us to be aware of these, not earth-shattering, they're just reminders that we all know as adults and professionals, in talking about them. And then each week I'll also share them in my weekly update for parents as well, if they have an interest in that.
And we'll jump over to another topic, your foundations, and that's another kind of communication piece you're working on to educate the community on different aspects of kind of running a school district and what goes into it. And I know the one you're focusing on now is the strategic plan.
Yeah, well, you're right. We have this strategic plan, and we also survey our staff, our students, and our parents annually. And through these school perception survey data outcomes, it was clear that the school district can improve in our communication regarding those focus areas in our strategic plan. So what we're trying to do is share out it with a brief, clear, pertinent snippet of information to everyone about the culture of our school district, where we want it to go, how we're going to do that, what teaching and learning or making learning visible means. That's our teaching and learning plan, making learning visible. What does that mean? Safety and finance. So mixed in also at different weeks, we're going to have things about career and tech education as well as student services. But this week's focus for us is the teaching and learning segment, which is the business of our business, right? We're all about teaching and learning as a school district, but it's the making learning visible plan. So what is the purpose of school? Josh, what is that purpose? Well, to us, this is a fundamental question that drives our district. The purpose of school is to learn, from teaching our youngest students how to read to preparing our oldest students for life after high school. To assist our teachers in getting our students to learn, we created a plan that ensures consistent learning goals, which are progressive and aligned to appropriate standards and our learning targets. So we call this our Making Learning Visible plan, MLVP. And each month, everybody will learn a little bit more about what this plan is and how it impacts their students. So we're going to take a different segment from our strategic plan, and every week it'll be a different topic. But we'll hit teaching and learning once a month. We'll hit safety once a month. We'll hit finance once a month. We'll hit culture once a month, just to help people better understand how we work as an organization.
And I'm sure over the next weeks, we'll be talking more about your Comet Universals and the strategic plan and some of these other things to help educate the community as well.
I hope so, Josh. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll jump back to Aaron, and it's going to be budget time for the season or budget time of year. And with that, the city gets different numbers, such as net new construction. There's a process going on looking at our equalized value, and that all ties into what tax dollars are available or what income's coming in to operate the city. I know you wanted to touch on that a little bit.
I did. So there's two important numbers that we recently found out. One is our equalized valuation and how that changed over the course of the last year. And then the other one's our net new construction number. And the reason those are important, equalized valuation, a lot of our policies are tied to equalized valuation. And it also is kind of a general measurement of how healthy your area is doing, your locality. And it turns out we had a large increase in equalized valuation for the second year in a row. So this last year we had a 14 and change, I think it's 14.1% increase in equalized valuation. That follows a year prior where we had a 13% increase. Those are the two highest increases in a long time. You could look back a couple decades and probably not see that. And that actually we've seen that across the state of Wisconsin. So that suggests property values in the state of Wisconsin equally are gaining in value, which is a good thing. it also, the other important number is our net new construction number. Our net new construction, the reason that that is important is that levy limit laws in the state of Wisconsin prohibit local governments from taxing more for general operating purposes than your net new construction. So our net new construction percentage is 1.7%. So that is the maximum our levy can be raised. When you think about how challenging that can be for a municipality, look at what inflation has done the last several years. And I will tell you that 1.7% is probably hitting an average of if you look back over the last decade, maybe a little higher than average. The year prior was 2.44%. And for perspective, that was the highest that we've seen in over a decade. So when you look at kind of what revenue resources we have to continue to serve the public at a high level and to meet the expectations of the public, that kind of puts it in perspective on how challenging budgets can be. And we're in the middle of a budget season, and we'll continue to work through it towards November, and which is when we expect to pass our budgets, both general fund, utility, both water and sewer utility, telecommunications, and then our capital improvements.
Perfect. Well, thanks for that explanation. It's definitely good. Both those numbers are increasing, as that helps out with budgets and income and all that good stuff. So that's
absolutely
good news. Well, Aaron, Ron, appreciate the time for the update this week, and we will talk again soon.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you.